one in a million football moments. Football has generated some of the most memorable sporting events of all time, as well as some of the most perplexing. We can all recall times when our favorite team scored in the final moments to become victorious after being on the verge of death. We've also witnessed miraculous moments and countless instances where we shouted at the screen until we were out of breath. 1. Maradona's Hand of God. Even if you're not a football fan, you probably heard about this moment. Diego Maradona astonished the world with his act of bold sportsmanship and breathtaking talent almost 36 years ago in Mexico. Maradona scored 6 minutes into the second half of Argentina's 1986 World Cup quarterfinal against England, smashing the ball over England custodian Peter Shilton and into the net. Maradona subsequently attributed the goal to the Hand of God, giving the moment the name it deserves. The ball used in the Hand of God goal is so legendary and iconic today that Tunisian Ali bin Nasser, the match's referee, wanted to sell it. The final price was a stunning $2.4 million. While the goal is debatable, and Maradona's demeanor has been questioned on occasion, there is no disputing that the Hand of God deserves to be remembered throughout history. 2. 1996. Home team does not show up. If you have played junior football, you might be able to recall a game where the opponents never showed up. Scotland came to Tallinn in 1996 to play Estonia in a World Cup qualifier for France '98, but the host squad did not even show up. Imagine how humiliating it must have been for the home team's fans. People were speculating that Estonia would not come since they were disputing FIFA's decision to change the match timings because their floodlights did not satisfy acceptable requirements. However, to comply with FIFA standards, the Scots had to play the match. John Collins, the Scottish captain, even had to go through the pre-game ritual of welcoming the referee and his team. However, those who supported them seemed to having a fun time while saying, "There's only one team in Tallinn." 3. Headbutt of the century. Imagine the scene. Zinedine is his country's best, most experienced, and most vital player. He recently led his country to the World Cup 2006 final in Germany, after his squad had been through a tough patch. He decides to remind everyone how great he used to be in his prime and gives a legendary performance throughout the tournament. His early goal in the final gives his team the lead until Marco Materazzi equalizes. Once level, Italy starts smothering the game, and he erupts with 10 minutes left in extra time, precisely when his team needs him the most. That's when the unthinkable happens, and Zidane headbutts Materazzi, which becomes the most iconic picture of the 2006 World Cup and possibly his career. It's also one of the most unusual moments in football history. Why Zidane couldn't hold his cool will go down as one of football's biggest unresolved puzzles. 4. Mother Nature stops the goal. What do you do when Mother Nature itself is your biggest op? Watch this hilarious moment when nature steals a goal from the striker after he puts his everything into it. The goal was certain, yet it was still denied by the snow. Talk about bad luck. 5. Best save in the history. Imagine doing such a crazy save that even Netflix decides to make an entire documentary on it. It makes you wonder if the goalkeeper is an expert in gymnastics or something. The moment is straight out of an anime. 6. Drunk referee. We're used to scrutinizing if referee needs to start wearing glasses and all, but have you ever questioned if the referee was intoxicated? Sergei Smolik supervised a Belarusian Premier League match between Vitebsk and Naftan back in 2008. He was voted Belarus' finest referee in 2007, and he administered the whole game from the center circle before being dragged off the ground. Needless to say, a medical test conducted following the match revealed excessive amounts of alcohol in his system, and he was finally suspended by the Belarusian FA. It's unclear how he got onto the pitch, and how he survived 90 minutes in the center circle will be remembered as one of the most puzzling referee acts of all time. The funny thing is that Smolik may have had the most fun game of his career and never realized it. 7. Worst miss. If you remember the round of 16 at the 2010 Asian Games, Qatar U23s faced Uzbekistan U23s. After 90 minutes, the game was tied at 0-0, forcing them into extra time. The extra time started and 50 seconds passed by. That's when we were able to witness Qatar's Fahad Chalfan missed an open goal, one of the hilarious and most puzzling missed goal of all time. 8 minutes later, the Uzbeks seized the lead, winning the game 1-0. 8. Teammates' betrayal. In 2006, England and Portugal competed, as did Manchester United teammates Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo. Rooney collided with the Portuguese player's sensitive area. The referee opted to interfere, as did Ronaldo, who persuaded the referee to show Rooney a red card. While the Englishman stormed off the pitch, Ronaldo triumphantly grinned at his teammates. 9. The Miracle of Bern. This moment was so stunning that they created a movie about it. West Germany faced Hungary, sometimes known as the Golden Team, which was unbeaten throughout, after a 2-2 tie for the most of the game. Helmut Rahn scored the critical third goal with just over 6 minutes left, giving West Germany its first World Cup victory. Even in East Berlin, people were praising the triumph, which is now known as the Miracle of Bern. 10. Cameroon versus Argentina. The champs, headed by Maradona, entered this encounter believing they had nothing to fear. Instead, they fell 0-1 to Cameroon in what's regarded one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history, made all more startling by Cameroon having 2 players sent out with red cards. The victory was celebrated not only in Cameroon, but throughout Africa, with bursts of excitement flooding the streets in the summer of 1990. 11. Goal rejected by protests. The 1982 World Cup might have spawned a whole montage of bizarre occurrences on its own. The funniest was undoubtedly France versus Kuwait. In 1982, France had an excellent team. It is a big pity for football that this specific French team has never won a World Cup. However, in 1984, they won the European Championships. The Kuwaitis were utterly and comprehensively outplayed by France. Les Bleus were giving the Kuwaitis a tough time and had 4 goals rejected for offside before going 4-1 up on a controversial Alain Giresse goal. Then comes Sheikh Fahad Al Ahmad Al Sabah, the president of the Kuwait Football Association, who attempted to have the match abandoned or France's 4th goal disallowed on the grounds that his team had halted due to hearing another whistle. Following the objections, the goal was finally disallowed, much to the anger of the French protesters. In the end, France won 4-1 thanks to another goal from Maxime Bossis. 12. Fatal goal. Andres Escobar, who lived in Colombia when drug lords ran the nation, scored an own goal during a World Cup match. This caused his team to be thrown out of the tournament. After the battle, he stated, "Life does not end here." Yet he couldn't be more incorrect. When he returned home, he was murdered mercilessly, presumably in revenge for scoring the own goal. He died at the age of 27, in his prime of his career. 13. Istanbul's Miracle. That was the game in the 2005 UEFA Champions League, featuring Liverpool and AC Milan on opposing sides of the pitch. Liverpool accomplished something almost unattainable. After losing 3-0 at halftime, they were able to score a total of 3 goals and ultimately took the title in a penalty shootout. 14. Bicycle kick. Cristiano Ronaldo, widely considered as one of the top-notch football players of all time, scored an incredible bicycle kick goal for Real Madrid against Juventus in the 2017-2018 Champions League quarterfinals. This goal has justifiably earned its position among the most memorable moments in Champions League history, leaving both fans and players stunned and wondering, how did he precisely achieve that? To this day, Ronaldo's brave try and flawless execution demonstrated his brilliance and limitless creativity. 15. Disaster in Hillsborough Stadium 1989. Liverpool was to meet Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup semi-finals on April 15, 1989, at Hillsborough Stadium. What should have been a joyful day of football turned into one of the most tragic incidents in British football history, killing over 93 people and injuring hundreds more. Liverpool fans outnumbered their opponents, although they were given tickets for the Leppings Lane end of the stadium, which had fewer seats. As more Liverpool fans arrived, the pressure from those outside the stadium caused those at the front to be pushed together and against the fencing that surrounded the pitch. Inadequate planning and actions by police officers aggravated the situation, resulting in disaster. No other sport can provoke such a wide variety of emotions from its fans with each stroke of the clock. The game's ability to transform tears into joy, and vice versa with each play, is what makes these moments remarkable. Let us know in the comments below if there's a football moment that still gives you the shivers.